literally your home court, and that's what happened. Now, and he shows up. What was you when you saw him? Were you leery? Were you worried about he's coming into my house, into my yard?
Well, I had my brothers there, and I was going to fight him.
To fight him.
And if I couldn't whip him, surely one of them could.
Yeah.
All right, welcome back to the show, everyone. I've got a fun throwback one for you guys. This was actually a request to react to, and I'm really glad because I remember this when it launched. Let me see when it did. This is from 2012, okay? And this was Magic Johnson and Larry Bird on David Letterman together. And I remember this just being like hilarious and classic, just to hear these two sitting next to each other, telling stories, talking a little trash. You know, there's some jokes and some laughs involved. Yeah, I was just looking forward to reacting to this and also reliving it with all you guys. So we're going to check this out together. I've never reacted to late night television, so I don't know. Hopefully it doesn't get blocked. Should probably get demonetized, but we'll find out. But yeah, just hopefully it doesn't get blocked so you guys actually get to see this and enjoy this. But we'll find out. What I will do is I'm going to link the original video down below in the description for you. So this is from the official Letterman channel, and it's called Fan Request Magic Johnson and Larry Bird /Letterman. So yeah, links down below for you guys. Hit that like button if you don't mind. It helps this video a ton. Gets more eyes on it. We get more eyes on it. We get more smiles across the board, because this is going to be one that's going to be filled with happy nostalgia. And without further ado, let's get into it. Let's do this. Here we go.
Our first guests are NBA legends. Their rivalry forever changed the game of basketball. Their relationship is the focus of a new Broadway play entitled Magic Bird, which opened earlier tonight. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Larry Bird and Irvin Magic Johnson.
I can't believe they did a play about this.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I saw the documentary the two of you did, and I guess it was produced by HBO. I'm right about that. I found it compelling. I found it moving. I found so much humanity in the production, and it stayed with me for quite some time. Now, you guys lived those lives. When you saw the documentary, did you have the same feelings, or was it just, oh yeah, that's us, that's what we did? Yeah,
they did a great job of capturing our feelings and how we feel about one another, but it's really all about the competition. I mean, even today, if we could do something to compete against one another, I'd still like to do that.
Yeah.
Nice. That's so awesome.
Magic, you feel the same way?
Oh, I feel exactly the same way. I wish we could compete against each other right now.
Well, you know what you could do is you could go out and buy a baseball team now.
Yep, compete against the Dodgers.
There you go.
I thought about buying the Cardinals, but after finding out, I found out Urban paid over $2 billion for the Dodgers. I know the Cardinals are worth at least $500 billion. That's a little bit much.
Yeah, that's crazy stuff. When you guys knew each other earlier, you know, everybody knows about the NCAA championship game, 1979. Do I have that date right? But you guys actually played as in some sort of, was it an amateur summer tournament or like that? Where was that? When was that?
Well, it was in Kentucky, and that's the first time probably in both our lives that we actually sat on the bench. And I don't think neither one of us liked that at all, but because we were on the bench, David, and we got a chance to play against the starters every day and at nighttime at practice. And Larry and I were so upset we took it out on the starters. Right. So we beat them every single day, right? But Larry was a special cat because it proved to me this man could really play basketball. I'd heard about him, but I never saw him play live and in person, and he was incredible. I mean, he dominated, and that's what it's all about. So I went back home telling everybody, oh, this Larry Bird guy is for real.
Right. But you guys were kids then. I mean, you're a little older than Magic, but you were, what, 17, 18, 19, in that range right in there when that happened?
I think I was 19.
Yeah.
19 or 20, and you probably 18 or 19.
Yeah. And you were, from the beginning, and correct me if I get any of this wrong, because it's your life, and, well, you guys ought to know. Magic, were you inclined early on to become friends with this guy because you were drawn to him because of his basketball abilities?
Look at Larry Bird's smile already.
Did you want to be friends with him from the beginning?
From the beginning, I wanted to be friends, but Larry didn't want none of that.
Yep, that's why he's laughing.
And so, and so I said, okay, if that's how it's going to be, then we have to be like that. I started disliking him too. But, he told me that, I smiled all the time, and he knew that I will smile at you, but I want to cut your heart out at the same time. So he knew that was part of my strategy to get him, lure him in as my friend.
So he didn't want...
Larry probably saw Magic as a snake. He's like, man, if I can't trust this guy with that smile, like, no way. He's trying to kill me.
To demonstrate any weakness by becoming your friend. Now, did you feel what his advances to being a friend, and you just rejected them? You were not interested? You didn't like him? I mean, what was your side of that?
It's not like one of my old girlfriends, I mean, when you say advances, I get a little scared. But my thing was when you compete, you're really not friends. You want to keep an edge. And I was like that through high school and through college. But Irvin is an outgoing guy. He loves everybody. He wants to high five. And, he got that big smile. My goal was to try to take 3 of them teeth home with me.
Two different perspectives.
Oh, man.
That's interesting because Indiana, Michigan, same generation of basketball, similar players, identical players, similar ideology about playing. Anything to do with the Midwest or the times that you guys came from?
I think it's the Midwest, and I think when you think about Indiana high school basketball, I mean, everybody says it's the best. You think about Michigan, we're right there with Indiana, and so how we were taught to play the game, both Larry and I, and then the way we wanted to play the game as individuals. And so we're mirrors of each other. I may smile a little bit more, but the way we played the game of basketball was exactly the same because we would do anything to win. We didn't care about scoring points. We cared about winning the game and making our teammates better. Yeah. And that's why I think that, thank you. We were able to change not only basketball, but we were able to change the NBA too. And so that was great for both of us.
I want to talk about that in a little bit. But so now you guys meet the first time in this summer league tournament, whatever it was. The next time is for the NCAA championship. Is that right? What did that?
Still the highest rated of all time.
And it was like a 10-point loss. Am I right, Larry?
Well, it was 10 points. Thank you, Dave.
Yeah.
It felt more like a 20-point loss. But when you're out there playing. And you get started in these games, sometimes you go, uh-oh, these guys are pretty good.
Right.
And I had that feeling at halftime that these guys were too much for us.
Now at the beginning of the game, did you meet Irvin there?
Why?
Do you remember trying to talk to Larry before the game?
Nope.
Yeah.
Yep.
You had learned your lesson.
I learned my lesson, and at that time, he was going after something I wanted bad, and I was going after something he wanted bad. So we didn't want to talk.
Yeah, no
we
words.
wanted to get it on and see who was the best.
And in terms of basketball, in terms of your career, in terms of your life and championships, what did losing that championship mean to you, and how did it affect you?
Yeah, that's the toughest one I've ever taken because you had all your friends. You're at a college. It's really when you step away from home. I felt in Indiana State, they accepted me, brought me in. It was tough, and it's still tough, but
Still tough today.
Yes,
Yeah.
but-
And how about you, Magic? What did winning that title mean for you?
Well,
Bird.
you know,
Bird's like, what the
you
hell
just
is
heard
this?
him. It's still tough for him.
That's cool. Then you go to Los Angeles, you go to Boston, relatively in the same time frame, and your careers in the NBA take off, and the rivalry is cemented or begun anew. And then there's somebody says, we're going to sell shoes. We got a Larry Bird shoe and we got a Magic Johnson shoe. Let's get these guys together and we'll shoot a thing. And you did want to do it, didn't want to do it?
Well, I wanted to do it because we won the championship that year and we beat Magic. So
Yeah.
I was up for
Feeling pretty good. All right. Yep.
I love. See, this is why I am the way I am. All that matters to these guys is championships. That's all I really ever cared for.
And then Magic, how did you?
I did not want
do
to
it,
go to Indiana. They won the championship. I'm going to his home too, and I protested. I didn't want to go.
Yeah. But the story is that you were reluctant to do it, and you said, okay, if you can get Magic.
It's called negotiating, Dave.
Yeah. Well, you prevailed because you said, if you can get him here, we'll do it in my backyard on literally your home court, and that's what happened. Now, and he shows up. What was you when you saw him? Were you leery? Were you worried about he's coming into my house, into my yard?
Well, I had my brothers there, and I was going to fight him.
To fight him.
And if I couldn't whip him, surely one of them could.
Yeah.
No, I felt, my mom was pretty good about it. She was all excited. My brothers were excited. They love Magic. The town was excited about having him come in our hometown. And, come from a small town, it's pretty big news.
French
Yeah,
lick.
and Bird has mentioned many times that his mother's favorite player at that time was Magic Johnson.
French lick and
Hold on.
pretty big news.
French lick.
French lick and they must be from the town over. But he came in and we shot this commercial, had my mom fix lunch, and it was neat. It was pretty neat.
But that, according to the documentary, that was the beginning of a friendship. Is that accurate?
Yeah, it's accurate. We really didn't say too much once I arrived. We actually had never really interacted with each other, so we got to the basketball court. We shot the first half of the commercial. Then it was lunch break. And so I'm going to my trailer thinking I'm going to eat alone and he's going to go. He said, no, Irvin, come on up. My mom fixed lunch at the house. So I was like, uh-oh. But I said, okay, cool. So we rode up, and Larry has this beautiful, his house is beautiful, great acres and everything. I mean, green grass, it was unbelievable. So we go up to the house, and his mom just greeted me at the door with a big hug.
Aww.
And that sort of just calmed me down. I said, wow, I'm getting a mom bird hug like my mother would hug me,
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
And so then she told me I was like her favorite player, and I said, okay.
It gets worse and worse.
So now I'm really sitting in the seat now. I'm
my
waiting for
God.
lunch now because I feel good.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, what happened was we found out we were much alike. Midwest boys, grew up poor, hardworking families, had the same values. And I got to know Larry, the man, and he got to know Irvin, the man.
Now, did things change for you that day as well?
Yeah, I've always respected my opponents and him greatly because of the fact that he was so good. Everybody always said there's a hate element to it, and there never was a hate. It's just that I had so much respect
It's competition
Yeah.
at its finest point, isn't it?
Yeah, and you never let your guard down. And he was so good. And I was trying to, I used to have this thing in my head in the summer. I go shoot 700 jump shots that day, and I get ready to leave, and I go, God, I know he's shooting 800. And it dropped me back out there. So it was mind games, too. But I always respected him and his teammates, and we had great teams. And it's just unfortunate that we got cheated in a lot of them games in the playoffs.
Cheated. Cheated. I think talking about that episode where you guys did the commercial and you had lunch and so forth. I think I remember from the documentary that said that you really liked Irvin you were less fond of Magic. Is that correct? And what does that mean?
Well,
Magic's
Irvin the
showman.
man's one thing, but Irvin the basketball player, I had a little problem with him. It ended, of course, 20 years ago, but there for, God, what? Well, I can't really say what I think, but
Now, when you hear that about you, that he liked Irvin, didn't like Magic, how do you interpret that? How do you feel about that? You know what he's talking about.
It made me feel good. David, hey, I was
These
a
guys are
thorn in his
hilarious.
side.
Right.
You know, I'm supposed to be. I'm supposed to be go out there to kick his butt. That's what my job was, and his job was to kick mine. You know, and so I didn't want Larry to like me. He didn't have to like me, but you know, we both respected each other. I knew Larry could beat me if I made mistakes. If we didn't play our best game. Larry made me have sleepless nights, right? No, he did. He had me because I was scared to death that I knew he could beat me.
Right.
And so that's what a great player does to you that you have to go up against. And not only was he great, the Celtics were great. So, and I was the same way, hopefully, you know, in his mind, when he went to sleep, thinking about me. Because I was thinking about him when I went to sleep, that was for sure.
It's
Hey, yo.
let's forget everything else. Forget the statistics, forget the friendship, how it evolved, the teams. Do you now, in your heart, believe you're the better player?
Oh, no. David Letterman knew exactly what he was doing here.
actually, I've always said that I go by success,
Me too.
and he's won more championships, so I give him the nod.
Oh, well. Being very
I think that's the right thing to say, too. I have Bird and Magic right there, but on my all-time list, but Magic is just right above Bird, and it's always going to be that way. There'll always be no gap between them. It'll be Magic then Bird. Even though on an individual level, I feel like Bird might have been the better player. Hey, man, success is success. And Magic not only had more championships in the NBA, but he also won that NCAA championship against Bird. So it is what it is.
gentlemanly.
That was very respectful
Magic,
of Bird.
same question to you. Is Larry the better player?
I've always said that Larry was the better player. You know,
Really?
because he could do more, shoot from the outside, all those type of things. You know, to us, really, at the end of the day, it really doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Because what matters to me is that I played against the best. I got to know the man, Larry Bird, and that we got this friendship right now.
Right.
That's all that matters, because the fans are going to say, hey, Larry Bird was my man. Just like I run into a lot of Celtic fans.
Yeah.
You know, I used to hate you.
I get that all the time.
I get that all the time,
Yeah, I
right?
get
And
it.
so, but they say, I hated the Lakers, but why do we love Magic?
Yeah.
You know? And so, but what
Respect.
matters is that we're friends now. We can do so many things together. I still will hate him now. If we
Yeah.
play checkers or basketball right now, then both of us are changing to those players that we used to be, because we still want to beat each other.
You think you were the better player, seriously, don't you?
Oh, man, he's still doing it.
He was the better forward, and I was the better guard.
Oh, there you go.
There
That's
you
a
are.
perfect way of handling it. Now, tell us, this documentary is, I think, the best sports documentary I've ever seen. And it's not because of anything other than you two gentlemen and who you are, the kind of men you guys are. And one of the points that is very, well, when you have your press conference and announce that you have HIV, the infection, your reaction and your reaction, tell us about your feelings.
Well, my feeling was the first time, you know, I told Lon, my agent, I said, we got to call Larry. And I said, I want to tell him myself. And so I want to talk to him. Well, actually, we couldn't get a hold of him. Then Lon told him, and then Larry wanted to talk to me.
Right.
And so we were able to talk. And
I heard I guess he was making phone calls to his friends in the league because he called Michael Jordan too. I remember Michael Jordan talking about it.
the best feeling, David, is when a friend supports you. And this young man came and supported me that's what it's all about. Forget the sports, forget the championships, the MVP. He came to my side and supported me, and I'll never forget that. And that's the type of man Larry Bird is.
It's not. No.
In fact, I'll just this little tidbit here, real quick. Larry Bird has actually spoken out about this, and if you guys don't know Larry's career, it started declining rapidly at this point. Injuries were a factor, but also you could just kind of tell there wasn't that same edge with Larry. Well, Larry's talked about it now and said, like, all he ever knew in the NBA was competing against Magic Johnson. And without Magic, because Magic had to retire, he was like, there's nobody else out there driving him to get better. You know, like how these guys are talking about, like, they visualize, you know, Magic is visualizing what Bird is doing and vice versa with Bird and Magic. That's what's motivating them to get better and better and better and excel. But with his competition knocked out all of a sudden, Larry just wasn't that motivated anymore, especially going through those injuries. He just wasn't so driven to push through. And like there was nothing to prove if Magic wasn't on the other end. You know, like the win wouldn't be as sweet. I was actually really shocked to hear that, but in hindsight, I could see that psychology in Bird in his final years in the league.
Gladly, it's not the way it was in those days. In those days, if you heard anything having to do with this, it seemed like an immediate death sentence.
Yes, it did.
And gladly, like I say, medical treatment has progressed where it's not that at all.
By the way, can we just have a moment real quick in the comments? Magic Johnson is still with us. 1992, I never thought, I thought he was going to be gone within a couple of years. And here we are, 33 years later, and Magic is still with us, making us laugh, making us smile. Man. Yeah, shout it out in the comments, everybody. Magic's still with us, not dead yet. It's a blessing.
But that must have been what you were thinking.
Yeah, we always heard 9 years.
Right.
But I remember the day we had a game that night. I always took a nap in the afternoon. My wife woke me up and said, "Hey, Lon Rosen called. You need to call Magic." So when I heard that, I couldn't believe it. I mean, I can remember back my father died, and my heart just sort of, he fluttered a little bit. When I heard about Magic, it's just like I had no energy. I didn't want to. It's the first time I can ever remember not wanting to play basketball, and it had a pit in my stomach for days after. Even after I talked to him, because in my mind, 9 or 10 years, he's going to be gone. And we had the Olympics, down the road. We had things we wanted to accomplish, but it's, man, here he is.
Yeah, happily things didn't work out the way we feared. Now, I mentioned we talk about it in the introduction. The NBA changed professional basketball. Give us a couple of ideas how the game has changed because of you guys' career.
Well, I think that, the games were tape delayed when Larry and I came into championships. Mm-hmm. And I remember when we beat the 76ers when I was a rookie, the games came on at 11:30 at night. And so to put now the championships in prime time, the salaries that people make, I mean, we affected a lot of the change that is happening. And then Michael Jordan came in right after us and took it to another level as well. And
do you guys see kids playing in the league now? You say, oh, geez, this is the way I would have approached it? Or is that the game has changed so much that your style of play doesn't exist? Or?
I got to say, that's a good question. Dude, no one has resembled Bird since. No one has resembled Magic since. That's what's so awesome about these guys. They've been away from the game for like 30 years, and no one even resembles them a little bit in my mind.
Can exist?
Oh, it can exist. I mean, there's not many 6'9" point guards out there.
Yeah.
But I think what I see is there's a lot of kids come to our league and take it for granted, but there's also a lot of kids come to our league that want to get better every day, and they do the work necessary to do better and better, and they care about their communities, and they care about their team. I see a lot of that. Mm-hmm. When I first came to the league, I didn't see hardly any of that.
Right.
I think what me and Irvin did when we came in, people have started watching basketball again. And our David Stern, which was our commissioner at the time, first year, came in and just took us to another level. Then you got to remember Jordan Barkley, Patrick Ewing, Karl Malone, John Stockton, all of us sort of came in. They came in a couple years after us. And the league got good right away.
Yep.
So we were just happy. We didn't know any of that was going on. We just wanted to play and compete. But in '84, it changed.
But also we made past
84 it changed. Yeah. That be MJ. But yeah, that was the golden era. It started with Bird and Magic, and it continued until 2010 in my mind.
passing fashionable again in the NBA.
Well, I think from a fan's standpoint, from a guy from Indiana who grew up loving and watching high school, college basketball and trying to play and so forth, the great legacy that the two of you leave is a demonstration of how to be a guy, just how to be guys, and that's invaluable.
That's well said. That's well said. It's a lost art these days.
It's I know what you're thinking at home. You're thinking to yourself, geez, just like Dave and Leno.
Yep.
Well, I wish you could come back tomorrow and the next night and the next night, but I know you guys got to get to the theater to rehearse your big number.
Imagine if they were on stage.
It's Magic Bird at the Longacre Theater. God, what a pleasure to meet you and to see you again, Magic. Thank you. Good luck with your Dodgers.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. We'll be right back with Jim Gaffigan, everybody.
Wow. All right, that's going to do it for that one. Well, I was smiling the whole time. I don't know about you guys. To David Letterman's point at the end, what he said there, I was actually thinking about that about halfway through this, because these guys are the epitome of old school guys, just dudes. They compete and compete and compete, but then that competition, instead of being hatred, turns into respect. And then that respect eventually turns into friendship when the need to compete is over. This is just what us guys do with each other. And it's either you earn each other's respect or you don't. Then it might turn into hatred. But if you earn each other's respect, it turns into a friendship if both parties are down with it. And even though it is a friendship now, these guys will be talking trash to each other about every little thing until the end of it. And it's going to be fun for them because they know it's not like a serious thing. They're just literally, they're busting chops. They're breaking balls, it's just an old school thing that I feel is a lost art. Now it feels like we're more in a time period where people are more sensitive to these things. And, if you tease somebody about, you beating them in a game or something like that, then it's considered like bullying and whatnot. But I swear, when it was used correctly, that's not bullying. That's what you do with people you like, because you're throwing a little jab off to the side and then they give you another jab. And that's just the way it goes. It's almost like an initiation. But yeah, a lot of people are very, very sensitive to this kind of stuff now. And it's kind of sad because, a lot of that camaraderie is lost because we don't get that opportunity to really feel each other out and say, are you this sensitive or are you able to take a hit and keep moving? It's just automatically like, no, you're toxic for even, throwing that little jab. But man, when it worked, it worked. Because look at these friendships that have formed in the old days. But anyways, everyone, thanks for going down memory lane with me. This was a great watch. It was great when I watched it the first time because, I grew up watching, a lot of this rivalry. Unfortunately, I missed the first, I'd say 6-7 years of the rivalry, but I got enough of it to understand that these guys were literally dominating the entire 80s. And they were usually the only person in each other's way to victory. But yeah, I loved it back then when I saw it the first time, and I might even love it even more now. Just having these two sit next to each other and talk trash and talk about their friendship. But anyways, let me know what you guys think Have you seen this before? Did you see it back when it dropped live on Letterman? Way back in the day? What was it? What did I say? It was 2012? Oh, I'm sorry, 2012. Because I was lucky enough to watch it. And yeah, let me know what you guys think. Let's have a fun conversation in the comments. As always, let's be thankful that Magic and Bird are still healthy and they're still with us, talking about the game, sharing their wisdom. It's I consider us incredibly fortunate. But anyways, I'm going to go ahead and sign off for this one. Thank you so much for watching. Like the vid if you haven't done so yet. It helps out a lot. Subscribe to the channel if you want more content like this. And hit that bell if you want to get notified for the next one, all right? All right, everyone. I'm out of here. Peace out, and never forget, be water, my friends.